Hi, welcome to Universal Interiors. I'm Les Ingelstead, and I'm very grateful to be able to share with you today. There's always so many ideas that go through my head. I was just telling my friend Raina, I thought for sure we were going to do a little chat about a subject, and then something else comes along, and this definitely plays in to life a lot, and that's just relationships, and relationships of those that are closest to us. Those of a husband, a child, a parent, a sister, sibling, those that are the closest to us, we should just hold so tight and cherish them. But for the most part, they just really are hard to love sometimes. I'm sure, I'm speaking for myself, I absolutely know I can be hard to love. Believe it or not, it's true. I do know that. I hope you all know that about yourselves too. But to challenge ourselves, that unconditional love. And where does that come from? Absolutely, without a doubt, I know it's from my Creator. You can't just drum that stuff up. And also the peace, that joy. It's nothing that Les Ingelstead was put on. You know, some of it's developed through character building, and a lot of that sometimes still developing, hopefully. I know that. But some of the gifts that are given to us were just personalities, and some have an easier time with just, you know, staying to themselves. Some talk too much, some talk maybe just a little. But all of us, I think, talk a little bit too much, or not at all, to those that really deserve it. And those of that, I'm talking about our family and those closest to us. I picked up this little book just now, and looking at these words, said, work on an absolute acceptance or unconditional love on those you love the most. It's sad. In many cases, the people we love unconditionally, the least are the people that we love the most. Does that make sense? It's like we have such a tough time. We understand what it can be. You know, those people are passing by. You won't have to put up with them very long, or not. I shouldn't say it like that. You know, if you're having a little bit of time, you just want to be alone, just loving them. See ya. And then they're out the door. But those people that we love the most, truly, we seem to not be able to give them that unconditional love. This book tells us, in other words, while we can quite easily overlook or just simply ignore the negativity of complete strangers, it's difficult to do the same with our children and our spouses. And a lot of us, including myself, should challenge the thoughts that we think against those that we love. Coming into the house or starting out the morning, depending upon what it is, we definitely just need to pause a lot more. And I pray that you have the faith I do to just stop and ask God to help, because we need to just get ourselves out of the way. You see, we shouldn't be there so much caught about what do we need to do for those people, but instead we should do what can we do for their life today, for them to have a better start, to have a better finish. The word cherish came at me today in a program I was listening to, and I don't hear that very much, but I know that it was used a long time ago. Cherish those you love. I don't think it's used often because I haven't heard it, just other than old books, or like I just said, some character was talking about that old-fashioned word of cherish. I had to challenge myself, and I will hopefully challenge you on that. It's that idea that no matter what they do to me, I'm still going to love them. I'm just going to give them, I'm going to serve them, I'm going to open up the door for them. Literally, if some of you husbands might want to remember that. We still like that. But just do that extra mile for them. We have so many things that come across our plate, and that gets really easy to turn in to the me's. I constantly do that. I am challenged, thankfully. One of my jobs, I would say the few jobs that I have, most of them are to serve, to get out of me, to make sure somebody else is having fun, or a good night, or however it might be, a good day. I get that all out. I can do that pretty well for the most part. But then I come home, and then I got nothing. And I want to just tell somebody how tough of a day I had. And that's not a bad thing. But you know what? We come to expect our spouse or our child or our parent, if we're still at home, or a kid calling on the phone who's moved miles away, and there you are left in the apartment and kind of lonely, but you just can't wait for them to call, or you call them perhaps, and the same thing comes out. You just want to talk about how tough things are for you. it's natural, I guess you could say, but doesn't make it right, because we are called to serve. We are called to get out of this old body and into somebody else. And by doing that, it can show many ways. But I think that these days, that handheld device takes over, and that person beyond that phone doesn't get the eye to eye that they need and maybe deserve. Somebody used the word bits. Like if you catch up on one of those bits, maybe your husband doesn't talk too much, but he comes home and he's going to say something to you about something happened his day, but you just got to finish those last few dishes, or you just got to push the cheese on the potatoes to finish that up. It might challenge you to just lay it down, sit down, and listen to what he had to say. And that goes for the fellas too. It's just a lost art, listening, I think. That unconditional love, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think you can make it up. I think you have to go deep inside of you and figure out what you're created for. We are created for love. Our Creator is love. So when that comes across your plate, because believe me, I know it does. I mean, in my life right now, as a 57-year-old, I've got a kiddo still, very young in many ways, but now into college. And then I have older parents and a husband, old friends, sisters, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws. The whole picture adds up to what can I do for them? But man, I get so caught up in me that I have more excuses. Yeah, they'll say, oh, but you're so busy. And I could quickly say, yeah, but really get annoyed at that busy thing, because even if you don't have a lot going in your life these days, you still got a busy mind, right? You're still thinking those busy thoughts. So I just challenge myself and you to next time really listen. And you know what? We probably do know those people that are a little bit maybe hard to listen to, but take some time off, mark it down, calling that person today, and then don't get anxious about them talking on and on about themselves, and hopefully that can get that out of them, and that funk is going to be gone, and they can start to think healthier thoughts. I know it works for me. It did just the other day. So that's what I kind of want to put before you today is, oh please, I do get it. There's a lot of ouches in our lives. But don't make that list. Instead, make the gratitude list. In fact, you can't even worry. You can't even get anxious if you're writing down the thanks or thinking on those good thoughts. That'll take you up to serving another person, to do your job better, to talk less about that person and help that person that you were going to talk about, help that person out. Help them to become better. It's a challenge I'm putting out there for me. Yeah, brand new year around the corner. No matter how far we are into that new year, please think about this. I just really want to have an understanding with y'all about unconditional love. We get it. Every day we get it. We get breath. We get a new start. Let's give it to somebody else, no matter how much they have just kind of cranked on your case lately. Take some time to cherish. Yep, a word for the day. Cherish those around that you love. Go the extra mile. You'll be paid in dividends. God loves that. I'll give you a big smile. I can just guarantee it. Well, thanks again for turning into Universal Interiors. It's such a privilege to allow these words to come to you weekly. And again, it is a privilege to serve. Thank you. Now go make it a beautiful day.